Hello, welcome to PezKnits. I hope you're well. My name is Presley, and this is my part 2 of my project vlog for the Kai Fella sweater by Knitwits and Yarns. So last time I left you, I have completed the back, and I have that here. If you haven't watched part 1, go and have a look at that because I showed you my whole journey with completing the back of the sweater, and that doesn't sound like a lot, but trust me, it was eventful. Things happened. Anyway, we got there, we finished the back. So here it is. I've got it on like a really long double pointed needle just to hold the live stitches. Yes, she's huge, she's massive. And so now I've started on the front of the sweater. And just when you thought, like, I've done this whole piece, I should be like on top of it, it should be smooth sailing. No. I already had heaps of mistakes happen. So I'll walk you through it. You know what, I'll just show you it. It's a bit hard because I was midway through the row. It's just like a total mess. Okay. So you can see I've done the ribbing and I've completed like 3 rows of like the color blocking. So how did the mistake come about? Well, I had finished the ribbing, which is done in a size 4 knitting needle. And once I completed the ribbing, I swapped to my 5mm needles and started doing the color blocking. I then realized that I forgot like an increase on the ribbing. So then I had to rip back, go back to my 4mm, and like do the increase, and I started with the color blocking again. Little did I know, I forgot to change the needles back to 5mm needles once I started the color blocking the second time. And so I was sitting here knitting. And for some reason, I don't know, my spidey senses kicked in. And I was like, this doesn't feel right. This feels different. Like, I was like, look how much smaller. Even with like these first couple of rows, I was like, look how much smaller it is. Like it doesn't look right. And then I was like looking at it, and I was like, the answer was right in front of me with these needles. I was like looking at it, and I was like, oh no, I forgot to change the needles. I put this in the naughty corner. I haven't worked on it for about 2 days. I didn't get that far. Like, I really didn't in terms of like the colors, the color squares. But it was enough for me to be like, you're going in the naughty corner. I don't want to look at you. I don't want to talk to you. Like, but all I have to do is rip back again the second time all of these color changes and swap to 5mm needles. So that's where we're at right now to start with. And yeah, I'll probably rip it out now this afternoon. I think it's had enough time to like marinate in my mind and say, okay, I'm ready. I'm emotionally ready to rip back again. So that's what I'm going to do. But yeah, my first check-in, it's not on a high note. Hopefully the next one will be like a bit more positive. Okay, until my next update. Bye. Hello. It's been a couple of days since I last checked in. I did the calculation and it's been 21 days, which is crazy because I feel like it literally felt like I filmed like just the other day, but no. Yeah, I don't want to make excuses, but my work has been like crazy, so I really haven't had the motivation to knit on this as much as I could have, which is okay. This is a hobby. I shouldn't be stressed out about hobbies. Anyway, so I'm here checking in because I finished the first sleeve and I just finished it today. Nothing really major to report. I did make some silly mistakes like along the way, probably because I was watching TV and not paying attention. Right at the last part, I forgot an increase, so I just sneaked it in the next row. I was like, I am not ripping back. I'm just going to keep on going. I'm just going to add the increase in the next row and no one will notice. And I think I was right. You can't really notice. My only concern is that like looking at this, I feel like it doesn't look long enough. So I'll like, obviously when this is done, these two ends would get sewn together. And then the sleeve is like this. Like, that looks so short to me. To be fair, like I think the sweater is like a drop what is it called? Like a drop shoulder style. Like, so like the sleeve doesn't start here, it like starts here. And also when I like put it up against my, see, like, oh, can you see? Like now it looks long. I'm putting it up against my arm, and I put it up against like my partner's arm, and it seemed to cover him okay. But I have a feeling once I block it, like it will stretch a lot. I find that sleeves always stretch a lot when you block it. I guess it depends on how you block it. If you block it in like the bodgy way I block it, where the sleeves just like grow because you're like just sewing the sweater on like the blocking mat, they grow. So I'm not that concerned. I just realized maybe I'll show you the back as well. Yeah, so I'm hoping the second sleeve won't take as long. So that's only 21 days. That's way too long. But I have a new motivator because my partner's birthday is in 2 weeks time, exactly today. And of course I'm like, oh my god, he could wear this sweater. It's his birthday sweater. Like he could wear it on his birthday. And so I know I just said that hobbies aren't meant to be stressful, but now the deadline is there. Like I have a deadline. So I'm going to cast on the next sleeve tonight. I'm not going to give myself a break. I'm going to cast on the next sleeve tonight. And we'll see if we'll get it done within the next 2 weeks. Here's hoping. I'm not that optimistic about it, but we'll see how we go. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Hi, me again. So I was just reviewing my footage because I was thinking 21 days to finish a sleeve. That's insane. But I just realized I didn't check in when I finished the front piece. I showed it in my podcast, but I showed it in my monthly update, but I didn't actually film a part in it for this video. So I apologize. I was like 21 days to finish a sleeve. That's crazy. Why did I allow myself to do that? Okay. This is the back piece. See, now I'm just all in chaos now. This is the back piece. I grabbed the wrong one. Here's the back piece. Let me get the front piece. This is the front piece. So in those 21 days, I finished this front piece as well as that sleeve I just showed you, which makes more sense. Because I was like, I know that I've been slacking off, but I didn't know I slacked off that much. So this is the front piece. And you can see here, I have like this needle holding on the live stitches, but this is the neckline here. So it'd be like this. Yes, very happy. Okay, well now I feel better about myself. Here I was thinking like 21 days to finish a sleeve. That's insane. But really, I finished the front and a sleeve in 21 days. So that sounds better. So there you go. Now you are fully up to date on my progress. And now I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Hello. Here I am reporting back. I think it's been about, I should have checked before I hit record. I think it's been about like half a week, I want to say, since last time I was saying that I only had 2 weeks to finish my partner, like the sweater before my partner's birthday. So surely it's been like 3 or 4 days, something like that. Anyway, I have some happy news. I just finished the second sleeve. Okay, so I just realized that now I've forgotten which one's which. I don't think it matters. They don't actually match, so... And why is one looking so much longer than the other? I'm like noticing all the flaws now that I've hit record. Can you imagine? No, they're the same. It's an optical illusion. It must have something, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like making problems out of nothing. Yeah, it must be an optical illusion. I think this is the left and this is the right. I'm sure it doesn't even matter. The pattern was the exact same on both sides, which makes sense because they're sleeves. Anyway, so I finished the sleeves. I have a feeling I'm going to have to do a heavy block on them because they look quite short to me. I said that before. I still stand by it. I'm still standing by that they look pretty short, but I'm sure when I block it, it'll like grow huge. So now I'm like, I was just saying to my partner, I was like, the easiest part is over. The knitting part, which is the easiest part, is over. The hardest part is just beginning, which is the sewing up. It's like nearly 9 o'clock at night. me being crazy, I'm like, oh my God, I want to start sewing now. So I actually might start sewing. I did like sew the ends in as I went, but there were one or two places that still require some, sewing in the ends. But I might do that just before I block it and do it all in one piece. And I also want my partner to try it on to see the sleeves. And if the sleeves are too short, then I know to like do a heavy block on it. I don't want to do a heavy block without knowing, and then it's like too long, like the sleeves are too long. Anyway, so I'm super happy. I can't believe I thought, here I am, I'm saying it too early. It's not done. Mind you, it's not done. The knitting part is done. But I'm like, I can't believe I was worried that I wasn't going to get it done in 2 weeks. I still have a week and a half. I have a week and a half for it to get done. Tomorrow it's exactly a week, I think. I'm so dumb when it comes to calendars. I think it's a week and a half. So it's not next week, it's the week after. Yeah, so it must be a week and a half. Very exciting. I'm going to start sewing. I'll let you know how I go. Maybe once I've gotten the hang of it, because I will have to use like a YouTube tutorial. I've never done mattress stitch in my life, which is what the pattern recommends. So I'm going to look at a couple of tutorials, and then once I get a hang of it, maybe I'll put like a time lapse of me doing it. Yeah, so I'll see you in the next clip. And we are back. That took me about half an hour. So like I said before, I wanted to sew a little bit just to get started. And so what you're looking at here, even though it's really hard to see, is the right shoulder seam. And I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think I've done a pretty good job of lining it all up. Like, that's nearly perfect. I think I'm looking at it, I think it's a fraction of like a stitch off, but like no one's going to be looking at it that close. I used mattress stitch like the pattern recommended. I watched a tutorial, which I will most probably include in the description below if you are curious. But I'm not 100% sure if I did it exactly like what they said. In the tutorial I watched, it said to put the needle through the same hole twice, which I tried, but I found that it came out really like chunky. Like, it didn't look as flat as I wanted it. Instead of going through the same hole, I went through the next hole. I'm saying the hole. What I really mean is like stitch. Anyway, watch the tutorial. I'm like really bad at explaining these things. I'll show you the back of it. And I think that looks so sexy. There is like a bit of a seam, but like whatever. Like, do you see what I'm saying? It sticks out a little, but I think that's the intention. And I feel like with most clothes, it's like that anyway. But it will lay flat. Like, I'm sure once I block it, it'll just feel like a little bump. But yeah, it's looking really promising. Like, wow. Like, especially when you zoom out there, it looks like almost seamless to me. So yeah, I believe the next step is to start picking up stitches along the collar now that the right side has been sewn together. So I won't do that tonight because it's way too late. It's like nearly 10 o'clock. So I'll leave it there. I'll leave it on a high note. Hello again. It's the next day and I was able to finish the neckline ribbing. I've put it on some scrap yarn because I want my partner to try this on. Also, I wasn't sure if the neckline was too tight. I was doing it on a really small cord. So to me, the neck hole looked like this big. But now that I put it on scrapboard, it actually looks 100% fine. So I'll probably do a cast off of this later. I've just cut the wool and I've given myself a lot of length because I'm planning on doing... Oh my God, I always forget the name of this thing. It's when you use a needle and thread to cast it off. Tubular cast off. Yes, I'm going to do a tubular cast off with a needle, which is why I've left so much excess on here. So, yeah, my partner's going to try this on. And then, because I'm really nervous about the armholes. So, in the pattern, it's told you like the measurement of how big the armhole should be. But I just want to double check by putting it on him. I just need to sew up the second shoulder together. So this one's sewn up like I showed you before. I just need to sew on this one. And then he'll be able to wear it like a vest so I can see how big of an armhole we need before we sew on the sleeves. Yes, looking very good. Looking very good. Okay, so I have the day off from work today. Woo! So I decided to take some time to sew the first sleeve on. It's really hard to show because there's like so much, but I've just done it. Here's the seam. And the center of the shoulder is here, where I sewed the two halves together at the shoulder. And then here is the sleeve. So I used the technique that was recommended in the pattern. I'll put it in the description below, the YouTube video I used. I'm pretty happy with it. I've really tried to line up the squares as best as I could. Like you can see here, it's touch off. Same with here. That one's actually really, really off. And then this one is slightly better. But, like, whatever. It's, like, the top of the shoulder. Like, you're not going to see it really unless you're, like, looking at a bird's eye view at the top of the shoulder. This top part really lines up well. Just when it gets to the sleeve, it's not looking that great. The perfectionist in me is screaming. But it's okay. Like, I'm not going to undo it. It's fine. It wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. I was really dreading... Why does that look crooked? Oh, my God. Anyway, it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. It took some time. I think it took me an hour. It took me an hour to do this one sleeve. And mind you, once these two sleeves are connected to the shoulders, then I need to like sew up the bottom and the sides of the sweater. So that will be one. I'm assuming there's actually not that much detail on how to sew it up, but that's fine. Like I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory, but I'm assuming that I'm going to sew up the sleeve and the side of the sweater all in one go, which makes sense. And yeah, I'm pretty happy. We'll see how the next sleeve goes. Okay, so I just flipped it over and I feel like this shows way better what's going on. So this is where I just sewed onto the sleeve, onto the armhole of the sweater. The sides are still open and the bottom of the sleeve is still open. So what I would do next for this sleeve is to sew it all the way down here to the bottom of the sweater to make it. It's really coming together. The sleeve is looking a bit skinny, but you need to keep in mind that the edges are like curling because it's stockinette and it's unblocked. So it would be, yeah. I'm just so nervous about the sleeves. So I'm really hoping, I'm like trying to convince myself that it's okay. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, it's coming together! Hello. So today is the day. It's my beautiful partner's birthday. Happy birthday to you. Unfortunately, the sweater isn't done as expected. I knew it wasn't going to be done. But I did sew up the right side of the sweater. So it's looking fab. Like, so this is the edge that I sewed up. I feel like at the beginning I was like struggling a little bit, but then as I went along, and especially with the sides, it's a very clean seam, which I'm really happy with. I've never done this sewing technique before, and it's called like the invisible, I think it's mattress stitch. Sorry, I'm mixing it up with something else, but like I've never done mattress stitch before, and it looks fabulous. Like I'm really happy with how that's looking. I'll show you the other side. Oh, it might be hard to do it with one hand, but that should give you the general idea. There's the seam. And yes, I'm really excited to get the other side done. So what the plan is that I am going to, once both sides are done and I've sewn in most of the ends, I'm going to get my partner to put it on. Once he's put it on, I'm going to cast off the neckline. I just want to do that last to make sure it's not too tight. I've had a history of making necklines that are too tight, so I really want to make sure that I have like that this neckline is okay. And then once I've done that, I'm going to block it. I also want him to try it on before I block it because I'm really concerned about the length of the sweater. If anyone has blocked a sweater before, it like expands a lot. So I'm really scared that it may be an all right length now, but after I block it, it might turn into like a sweater dress. So I'm really concerned about that. And also I want to make sure that the sleeves are okay. I've expressed this whole time that like I'm really worried about the sleeves being too long. Sorry, not too long, the opposite of that, too short. So I want him to try that on so I know how heavy to block the sleeves. Yes, still a lot to do, but we're nearly there. I thought this day would never come. And here we are with our live model, Wave. Hello. All right, so I literally just finished sewing it up. It looks fab. The sleeves are not too short, So I'm going to have to not do a super hard block on it, actually. What is there to do? I have to, as you can see, there's like a million ends all hanging down because I need to sew them all in. And I also need to finish the neckline, which I'm going to do right now. It is Thursday. His birthday party is on Saturday, and I don't care if it takes me all night. I'm going to sew up the collar, and I am going to weave in all the ends tonight so I can block it, and then it will be dry by Saturday. It's looking fab. Yeah!